Welcome back to look at Unit 2 of Year 3, or 8th grade of visual art in the secondary. This unit is all about developing skills. So Unit 1 was very focused on knowledge and understanding, and we used the rubric for knowledge and understanding, and all the projects kind of revolved around that. This unit is centered on developing skills. So when I was learning to draw, paint, create art, my art teacher a long time ago had me copy a piece of art to practice creating the tones, mixing the paint, getting my proportions right. So inspired by that, I've created this unit called Copying the Masters. So students in this unit are going to learn different skills by copying famous artists who are very good in that particular media. So I've picked identities and relationships because students are going to look at famous identities in art history. They're also going to look at their own identity through a study of self-portraits, and they could also learn a lot about the relationships these artists had with their world at the time or with other people at the time. I chose perspective because we're going to have to look through the time period that these artists existed in to understand why they painted what they did, why they drew what they did. And then for related concepts, I chose representation and style. So really focusing on what are the styles of these artists, what makes their artwork stand out as different from all the other workers of the time. So for my statement of inquiry, I said to identify someone's style, you have to look through their perspective and repeat their mistakes. And I was hoping with this unit to bring up some debatable questions around copyright laws, around appropriation. Is it always bad to copy somebody else's work? Can something be gained from copying somebody else's work? Do we have to be honest as artists? And then with my conceptual questions, I ask specific questions about the specific artist that we're going to study, and what's the value and what's the danger in copying someone else's work. In my factual questions, I really focused on the skills that they're going to learn and the media that they're going to learn, and again, who these people were in history, these famous artists that they're going to study. When you're doing the knowledge and skills portion, I've seen a lot of variation on what people put in these two boxes. So basically, when you're filling out what scholars will know, you want them to be able to share certain information with somebody after they've completed this unit. So I've listed the style, biography, and 1 to 2 works by the following artists for them to know when they're done with this unit. When you get to the scholars will be skilled at, you kind of want to complete this statement. Using blank, create blank. So you're going to tell what tool they're going to use and what they're going to be able to do with it. So using watercolor painting techniques, you're going to be able to paint a landscape. Or using drawing techniques, you'll be able to draw a face. This unit offers some great opportunities to work with your history teacher or your Spanish teacher to find out what context or what time period they're in, so you can emphasize that artist in that time period. Also, because we're going to be looking at Frida Kahlo, she was one of the most famous female Mexican artists. It's really good to connect with your language B teacher or your Spanish teacher so that you can share information or even co-teach the lesson together. So there's 2 projects they're going to do as a part of this unit. They're going to do a forgery project where they take a famous piece of art and they copy it, and you can kind of wrestle with them about whether this is right, whether that is wrong, but really emphasize that if we are going to copy somebody else's work, it should be for the purpose of improving our skill in a specific media. The second project you're going to do is a Frida Kahlo self-portrait project. So you're going to study Frida Kahlo, and then students are going to draw self-portraits, and they're going to use some symbols in their self-portrait to tell stories about their life events in a surrealist type of style. So for the 5 artists that I picked for them to copy, they also are going to learn some things about their life and how they related to their time period. So they'll spend a day looking at information about the artist, and they will take a quiz on that information. And then they're going to spend a day practicing the media that relates closely to that artist. So for Paul Cézanne, they're going to practice soft pastels, and they'll complete an activity where they recreate a portion of Cézanne's artwork. So with each artist, they'll learn about them, they'll take a quiz on them, they'll complete an activity where they practice a specific media, and then they'll complete an activity where they copy a portion of that person's artwork. So your students will have copied 5 small portions of a person's artwork before they get to the point where they're choosing their own artist to copy. And you can provide them a list of artists to choose from, or you can provide them pictures to choose from. Because it's hard to always get color printouts, a lot of times I will buy like calendars of specific artists and then divvy them out to people because they have such rich color. So they'll complete their forgery project, and then they'll go in to have a day where they plot out the life events of Frida Kahlo on a timeline, and then they'll put images of her work next to the time periods and the life events that she had, and hopefully your students will start to see the connection between what she portrayed in her artwork and what was going on in her life at that time. She's one of the best artists to show self-portraits of, because they're very telling of her mental state and whatever was going on in her life right at that moment. Then they'll plan their self-portrait project and complete their self-portrait project, and that will be the 2 projects for this unit. Some other ways to give them access to color pictures while their forging projects are going on is to project images up on the board, maybe have them use their phones to look at their chosen artist image. Get creative with this. I know it's hard to always get color prints, but it's really important for students to learn how to match colors and match blending techniques of these famous artists. I hope you enjoy this unit, and I hope that your year is going well. We will meet back again at Unit 3.